Guys, I'm only late one day. I was a little bit unwell yesterday, but here I am. And today we're going to be talking about how to function, how to stay focused when you're on set and you don't get along with a partner. And that partner can be, of course, an actor that you're playing with, but it can also be a director, it can be a DP, anyone involved in the team who is close enough that they may affect your energy and your presence. And so, it can look like you're with an actor and you have to be in love with that actor and you hate their guts. And then how do you deal with that? How are you able to show up authentically, to stay focused, to really feel some love in you when you hate them? Or how about the other actor or actress or director or casting director, or DP is really being a jerk to you? How you're feeling disrespected, you're feeling offended. How are you able to show up and continue to really be focused on your character's needs to be really delivering the work that you want to be delivering? So there's sometimes even it's a little more subtle, but the partner that you're playing with may see the role or may see acting just differently. And so what do you do then? Because there's no alignment, you're not on the same wavelength. How are you able to stay focused again on your acting? Of course, this happens mostly in casting offices when you feel that the casting director is not really showing up in a way that makes you feel comfortable. And then you're like out of sorts and you lose your stuff, and it really is uncomfortable. It can be really hard. There's also the opposite way. You don't like the partner that you're playing with. Like you really want to be a jerk to them and you don't agree with anything about them. You don't like them. So how do you stay together, grounded? How do you stay really focused on your acting? So I know it's hard because of course you're passionate. You work so hard to get the role. You get it. You work on the part. You're super excited to go to work. And then if conflict arises, and of course on set, I want to say you want to expect that to happen because there's so many people involved in a set, so many different egos, that more often than not, there'll be some friction and there'll be some disagreements and some differences of opinions and some different takes on certain things and just likes and dislikes, which is completely human. So coming to set and expecting that everyone is going to think and feel like you is kind of delusional, because usually people think like they think and feel like they feel. So mostly this happens. It's very rare to hear someone get out of a whole, big movie shoot or show shoot and go, everyone was thinking the same way. It was bliss. We were all getting along. It was like a happy family, and there was never any conflict. So I hear that it's passionate, and you may find yourself falling in loops of, because you're finally working and it feels like they're like an obstacle to the pleasure that you can feel on set. You can start thinking it's their fault. You want to make them wrong. You want to blame them. You want to gossip about them. You want to try to talk to the director so they do something about it. Or if it's director that you're having problems with, you may try to talk to other members of the crew to make them wrong. So you might try to deny that it's happening. You might work harder at home and try to get more resilient and be hard on yourself to be able to show up and not be impacted by what they're doing. And I want to say, if you've caught yourself doing that, you may very well know that doesn't work either. None of those things work. So I want to take the conversation to the root of what's happening. And the root of what's actually happening is not that the other person is in disagreement with you or is different than you. The root of what's happening is that your ego gets stung when another person is not behaving the way that you are expecting for them to behave. So the difference between you guys is stinging your ego. That's the root cause of this problem, which is something in my environment is going to happen in a way that I don't like it, and that's going to throw my ego off. and I'm going to get carried away with my ego, and I'm going to loop out of control, and I'm going to walk away home saying, it was terrible. I was so prepared. This was the ideal role for me. And because of that person, because of that actor, they ruined everything. And it was terrible. I hated it. And I'm probably going to be bad. And of course, you don't want to fall in that loop, because then it's your ego that, again, is being stung by the difference, because you want everyone to behave like you want them to behave. Your ego gets stung, carried away, spirals down, and then you kind of drop the job. You drop the character's needs, because your ego is taking over everything, and you're no longer defending the character's needs, you're defending your ego's needs. So the opportunity here is to realize that if you're overcome by your ego, the opportunity is to see that there's work to be done to free yourself from your ego, to get free as a human being, as an artist, as an actor. When you're free from your ego doesn't ruin your life anymore. Your defense mechanisms, your coping mechanisms, attacking, survival, all of that works through. And you're no longer at the effect of your ego. Your ego is no longer driving your performance, driving your life, is no longer the boss of you. And therefore, you can focus on the character's needs and not your ego's needs. So again, the opportunity here is to realize that if your ego gets stung and carried away by the differences that affect you too much on set, so much so that you lose your power and focus, the idea is to see, oh, okay, my ego is taking all the space in my instrument. I'm not free because I'm being reactive to what's happening, and people can take away my presence and my power, my performance, my instinct. Therefore, I can do the work of freeing myself up from that ego, so I don't need to take care of my ego's needs on set, and so that I can stay focused on my character's needs. What happens when you've done that work of freeing yourself and you're really available, what other people do or don't do, say or don't say, behave or don't behave, doesn't impact your ego, and you stay focused on your character's needs, and therefore you're able to use what other people do, don't do, say, don't say, behave, don't behave, whether that's something you like or not. You're able to take it for your character and use it in your performance, because it is energy. So if you're interested in doing that work, if you're seeing that sometimes you're tied up in the grip of your ego and that you're not really in control of your performance, that you're kind of at the effect of your ego, and no matter what happens, it's going to feel uncomfortable to your ego, and then it's going to be messy for you, then let us know. We can send you some free information, some free links to get you started into getting your instrument free, so that you're able to show up and not be stronger than everyone, but be unaffected by things. And more than unaffected is to be able to use the things, but your center, your presence, your value, your worth won't be affected by what's happening. All right, well, I hope this was helpful. Again, if you want some information about this, we can send you some free links. Type free 100 and we'll happily send you that information. All right, thank you guys. Bye.